Alright, so now you should be able to hear. I'm going to set up the second camera. The auxiliary camera. You can see, yeah, that looks like that'll be good. Like a little reflection from which light? Let's do that one. Okay, adjusting the other camera. Woo. Now you can see how I adjust this camera. Stand up. Ready? See the microphone? Look at the window there. I cannot see the microphone. There we go. I should zoom in a bit. Here and zoom in a bit. Not a lot. Just enough to get out of that. That's pretty good. Okay, is the microphone hot? It's hot, at least. It says you can hear me. Just get my apron on to cover myself. There we go. Okay. Yeah, a little late today. We're a little late. Why am I doing it on a weekday for a change? I'm usually a Sunday or a Saturday afternoon, evening, dinner time streamer. What's going on today? Spring break. So here I am, spring break, and welcome to my kitchen. Hey folks, welcome to my kitchen. It looks pretty good. So today we're gonna make, well, the magazine called it quesadillas, but it's basically, it's a cross between a pizza and a quesadilla, I would say, because the cheese we're using is mozzarella. The beef we're using is actual steak. Bought some New York steak for this one. And I'm using mushrooms. And we're going to use a skillet. You know, normally I would skillet back here on the stove. But today, we're going to be using an electric skillet. Electric skillet. Why? So that you can actually see what's going on. So I use electric skillet right here in front. So you can actually see the actual cooking. How do we bring this camera in closer? Bring that in. There we go. Manual zoom. There was an old commercial talking about manual zoom. This is a manual zoom. There you go. Little side. Wait, what's the... Oh, you can really see that. Okay, we're going to kind of get that out of frame. Hopefully, a little enough. I'm going to follow it, actually. There we go. That is going to enhance my ability to slide this around. Try to do this. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, everything's coming up roses. Now let's use this. But I'm not using that yet. So we'll move that out. Howdy, folks. Hey, folks, welcome to my kitchen. I think I got everything set up like I like it. I know the stream kind of starts a little slow, so you want to start now. If you're watching the replay, instead of starting from the beginning, of course, you're not going to know where that timestamp is, unless I might actually put the timestamp, and I can do that. I'll put a timestamp in there for you. I'm still working on my next video to publish. Hopefully Thursday. We'll see. That's my hope right now. I should be able to work on it tomorrow, get that ready for us. It's going to be about the meal mat. That's the next video that came out. So I've been using the meal mat for a year and loving it. for a year. You know, you can make some wonderful homemade soups with the meal mat, making some, especially every week we make soy milk. So there'll be a video on this one, an update coming up soon. That's the next video, probably. If I can get it done Thursday, if not, it'll be coming up in a week. Monday, Thursday. If it's not out Thursday, it's not going to be out Monday. It'll be out after that. So anyway, that one's coming up. What do we got? Well, today we are cooking quesadillas. This is some ingredients. Some cheese. This is going to be fast recipe. Steak. I think maybe first I'll do the steak. Mushrooms. There we go. Mushrooms. This is almost all the ingredients. One more thing. Steak, mushroom, cheese. Spaghetti sauce. See if it's still good. And if it's not, I've got some steak. Nope. Spaghetti sauce we buy just doesn't last very long. We got some spaghetti. Don't worry. Tortillas. So if you go to a link in the description, you'll see the webpage where it has pretty much all the ingredients you're going to be using. You know, you can modify it to your taste as you like. Welcome, welcome. Rachel, welcome, welcome. Yeah, spring break cooking. Why are we here? Sorry, I lost the train of thought. Let's see now, what was the other thing I needed? So we got this, we got the tortillas, the sauce. Traditional Prego. Now, the only thing we're using this for today is just like a dipping sauce. We're not going to cook with it. But we love our sauce. Well, I should say Happy Healthy Daughter loves this sauce. This is the sauce we're using. It's the good sauce. Okay, some salt, pepper. Salt, pepper, the seasoning. If you want some other seasoning, what other seasoning would I add? Paprika for the mushrooms. So let's get started. What should we do first? Well, the first step in this recipe is going to be to cook the beef. So we're going to slice the beef first. So let me get out a cutting board. And a second cutting board. This one is really a meat cutting board. I only cut red meat on this one. Good, you can see it both places. And whereas this one, you can see, same style cutting board, these are good and thick. This one is for veggies. Yes, we will have to wash, why don't we wash the mushrooms first? Let me do that. One thing about mushrooms, so these were actually washed yesterday. And I used it in a different dish from yesterday. So these are the ones that I didn't cut up for that dish. So we got some mushrooms ready to go. Actually, I'm not even going to need this board for the mushrooms. You'll see why. So let's wash the other mushrooms. We're going to take off the stems and get the others ready to wash. There are a couple of vegetables, well, most vegetables this way, a couple of vegetables, especially mushrooms, that you absolutely shrink when they cook. These are baby bellas, 24 ounces from Costco. So I might be doing more than 8 ounces of baby bellas. Unlike the recipe, it says 8 ounces of mushrooms, but I think it also says 8 ounces of steak. That is about, I don't know, it could be 16, I don't know. It doesn't matter if you have too much filling for your quesadillas, or too much cheese, or too much of anything else. There we go, take them out. Boom. Boom. So we're going to go ahead and wash the mushroom. Now you might have seen that you brushed them with a damp cloth. Now we're just going to rinse them in water. Easier. Alright, beautiful. So now we're going to let those mushrooms dry a bit while we start working on the beef. Move this out of the way. So now for this steak, what it was, so it's nice because we're gonna slice it thin. So one thing that you might want to do for a steak, and this one specifically, it was frozen. Bought it on Friday. Froze it on Friday, and so now today is what? Tuesday. So actually I took this out about 9 a.m. today. It's still a little too frozen. This part's pretty good. This part's really frozen. It'll be fine. As long as you have a good knife. The knife I used yesterday. Yeah, nice, strong, good meat cleaver. So now with this meat cleaver, if you like it, look at all this extra fat. Let me double check the top part. Yeah, we're just going to mostly cut off that fat. Mostly we want the lean meat. Trim off all that fat. Yeah. You know, you could, if you really, and you can get a little bit of steak from there. In the bowl. We're going to salt and pepper that. But yeah, the fat, that was a lot of fat. And we don't want that much fat in our steak quesadillas. Steak and mushroom quesadillas. Why is it called, why did I say cross between a quesadilla and steak? Steak plus pizza. Why did I call it a pizza? Well, it's actually very simple. Because you're using mozzarella for our cheese. That is definitely not a cheese that you would have if you were making a quesadilla. You would not use mozzarella. So using a good slice of mozzarella cheese. I'm trying to find another one. I might cut them in half again. Probably. We'll just slice them first. So the reason why I like it frozen, you can see, it's a little easier to slice thin. The meat doesn't move on you. So a little bit frozen is perfect if you're just trying to slice your beef thin. It works well if you're doing stir fry, or if you know, usually fajitas, you cook the whole thing and slice afterwards. Oh wait, I'm thinking these are going to be too big, so we're going to actually slice them in half again. No, we're just taking our time. I could be doing this faster. We're just going to take our time. Yeah, nice thin slices because it's frozen. And in order to do that, though, you need a good knife. And this, as you can see, is a very good knife. It's the fat that's having trouble, right? See that fat not wanting to slice? Fat's always the trouble with slicing. It's always hard to slice through the fat. That's how I slice through it. Excess fat. So it makes it easier if the steak was frozen first. So I had it frozen, and I took it out in this morning, put it in the refrigerator. I took it about 9 a.m., put it in the refrigerator, and now it's a pretty good frozen consistency. Beautiful for slicing thin. Flip it. See if I can cut the fat better this way. Yep. Yep. Got a nice piece of beef. And you can cut it really thin if you have a very sharp knife. So we're cutting our beef pretty thin. Now, I was doing my research of trying to find a good knife, because maybe you've noticed in most of my other videos, I'm using Cutco knives. Usually when I'm doing beef, I'm using my specific butcher knife from Cutco. Good knife. You can sharpen it as much as you want. And I can do this one as well. Very comfortable. Very comfortable to slice through. But I was thinking I could have a better knife. And so that's where I just say, you know what, time to see if another knife is better. Can I slice just like? It's slicing about the same. So yeah, these are good knives, Cutco. Good knives. Not having any problems with it. Comfortable to hold. What I found out was that this knife is doing a lot better job cutting through, especially when I'm doing vegetables. There's a big difference. Now this is not the Cutco knife I got was not a vegetable knife. So I'm not knocking that one, but I bought this one. I did a little bit of research. It's a fairly inexpensive knife, actually. That's part of the reason why I wanted to have it. It's really sharp. It has now become my favorite knife for vegetable cutting. And today, it's used for steak slicing. Alright, those pieces that do have lots of fat. Hopefully that'll render nicely. There we go. So there's all the beef. There's a little extra fat there. I'll put that away. Beef is done. The knives are done. Now you might be wondering, how am I going to cut up the mushrooms? Let me bring that knife back up for one last second. Finish this story. Yeah, so I found on Amazon, I was like, let's find a good knife. A good sharp knife. And this one I've been using since Christmas, because that's when we got it. And it's been a very helpful knife in the kitchen. It slices through mushrooms really quickly. Now, you're not supposed to slice mushrooms after beef. Cross-contamination and all, but they're being cooked anyway. It's beef. So I've found that it really slices really well. Better than the chef knife that I use. So there's some sliced mushrooms for you. It works really well. I did put a link, finally, in the description. There's also going to be, there's a link in the web page for this video. And there's also going to be a link very soon on my website for all the products that I use and love. Because this knife has become my favorite. Really nice thin slices on the mushrooms. No effort, just boom, 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 really quick, really nice. Very good. Very good knife. But why did I put that away? Because, I could slice all these mushrooms, but you know me, I love gadgets. And we're going to use, let's see, which side do you need to see? I think this is a better side to look on here. So on the end camera, you're going to see from the back. Gotta make sure, okay, setting, good. Setting is into slices. Put the other little things you need for it. And go. The capture unit. And the shoot. Because the one thing I like to do, now this obviously I have more control with the regular knife, cutting slices of mushrooms. Perfect slices, beautiful, but they're not all going to be the same thinness unless you are a master at cutting. Let me see, this one right here, see the two thicknesses? Those are very similar, but this, here we go, this one's really thin. You can see that difference there. Those two different slices. One is thicker than the other. One's thicker, one's thin. So what do I do? Well, I use oftentimes if I want to, well, two reasons. One is speed. You can see how much faster this thing is to cut than the knife. One reason I use this is speed. Another reason I use it is consistency in slices. I use this a lot for French fries, actually. If I'm going to cook French fries, and I've been cooking French fries, homemade potato fries, a lot recently, because you're not always at a restaurant ordering fries. So this baby does a very nice job at cutting French fries, which you may have seen in my past live when we did chili 3 ways. Anyway, all right. So let's see. So you put them in. This thing helps push them down. Let's see. I've got very thick slices right now. That was not the intent. Let's thin those up. So I'm on the 8 setting. Let's put it down to about a 4. Not 3. Let's see what the 3 setting looks like. Thinner. Now you don't need to get your mushrooms really thin. That's 3 millimeters. Let's do 2 millimeters. You can see a 2 millimeter slice. Take this one. A nice 2 millimeter slice right there. So we do 2 millimeters. We'll keep it 2 millimeters. So 2 reasons. 1, consistency. Whoops. Almost into the beef bowl. Consistency in slices, that they are the same length. Same thickness, not the same length. So I get slices the same length using this method. The same width, I guess maybe you should call it. Same width in all my slices. So consistent. And it's quick. Consistent and quick. The dash safe slice. Now you may have used a mandolin before, or have seen a mandolin. Using mandolin to chop up your fries, potatoes into French fries. I've used a mandolin before. I'm not using a mandolin anymore as much as I can because when I used a mandolin, you saw I'd use those no-cut gloves, cut-resistant gloves, and those actually do a good job cut-resistant. But you can see the dash safe slice. I don't even need gloves. No gloves needed at all. And quick slicing of mushrooms. Very quick. And I have to reload, but what's faster? Cutting all these mushrooms using this device or cutting them down using a knife? I'm going to say this is faster. Although it feels like the blade might be a little dull. But it still slices through these soft mushrooms really quickly. Look at that. Beautifully done. Beautifully done. Alright, so now we got our mushroom sliced up. We've got our beef sliced up. One more thing to get ready before we actually start cooking. And I hate to bring on another gadget, but when I am grating up a big amount of cheese, and I mean big, we're doing a lot of cheese today. We're doing a whole pound of cheese. You could probably get it with 8 ounces. And like whatever the recipe said, I like to load up my quesadillas with cheese. So you're going to be cutting up this cheese. And I don't want to grate this whole thing by hand. Now, many of you will see it on chefs who always do these things by hand. But when you're doing a huge amount, like the amount of times I make pizza, and I have to grate this with cheese, or if I'm going to make lasagna, like we're doing tomorrow night, then I'm going to be grating up a huge amount of mozzarella. And I don't like doing that by hand. So we're going to bring out my other friend. Oh, it's in the cabinet. We'll get it out. Now, if you're worrying about the cleanup, cleanup's really easy, actually. Just wash it off, rinse it off. So I'm going to go ahead and rinse it out. You will see right now, you can see it's still got the mushroom pieces in there. There's still lots of little mushroom pieces. Lots. But we're going to go ahead and rinse that out. And you can even toss in dishwasher, though I usually don't. Just a quick rinse. With their special tool, should I say. Oh, I should move back up to 8. 8. 0, 8, there we go. Quick rinse. So yes, I'll admit a knife would be faster to clean. You could certainly clean the knife faster than you can clean this. But now it's a nice little rinse. And you can even toss in dishwasher if you'd rather. And clean it up that way. It's clean and ready to go for the next time. Now I'll set that aside. And get the last ingredient ready. That I need to have ready. And that is the mozzarella. I can use the scissors that cut through anything. Often I'll use, let's use the knife actually. These do cut through anything though. There's a reason why I want to use the knife. A cheese knife. Preferred choice for cutting cheese. Because I need to cut it in half first. Let's go ahead and cut it right in half. Right now. So I'm going to use my favorite method for grating lots of cheese. Get a bowl. A big bowl. Alright, now let's get my favorite device of all time. No, not true. But it's professional salad shooter. Let me see what kind of, like this. I'll cut the light if I do that. I'll cut the, okay, we can do that. This one, sorry, we'll do this one. Alright, so sometimes we need some extra room on the plug, so I got rid of the one I didn't need. Here we go. We're going to put in the cone. Then we push it in. And now we got to put in the cheese grater. This is the finest, not the finest. This is the medium one. You can get a smaller one. So you'll see we don't need it much smaller than what we're going to do. At least I don't need it. Lock it in place. It's ready to grate some cheese for us. It's a professional salad shooter, is what it's called. Let me push that in. There we go. professional salad shooter. What it really is used for, or what they have some slicing. What are those things called? Slicing cones. The slicing cones will slice your vegetables very easily. I've done it once. You can do this to grate your carrots if you want. Slice your vegetables. I don't use it very much for slicing vegetables anymore. So you can see it does a quick job of grating up cheese. Now this is, I'll be honest, 8 ounces is probably enough cheese for quesadillas a month. I don't know. Looking at the proportions, I think I'm going to do some more. So we're going to take in the other. And besides, there's leftover, it'll do well for lasagnas. Tomorrow's lasagna. You can't tell this Italian week. Yeah, you can hear the loudness. It's a little loud. There it is. A whole pound of cheese grated up. Because you don't want to buy the pre-grated stuff. You're going to grate a lot. Why not? Because every chef will tell you. You can hear it from Guy Fieri. You can hear it from Babish. Babish, sorry. Cooking with Babish. I just heard recently Cooking with Babish say the exact same thing I'm about to say. That they're always covered in some kind of starch. Like a potato starch to keep your cheese separated when it's in the bag so it doesn't clump together. Like tomorrow, this will be all clumped because it'll stick back together again. And if you look at a recent Epicurious video, really good video, Babish, I don't know, I forget his real name, but the guy from Cooking with Babish, he actually showed his favorite nachos. And he even showed melting both the pre-shredded cheese and the one that he shredded personally. And you can really see a difference in the way those shreds happen. So certainly check that out if you want to know why I always buy block cheese and shred it myself. Another reason, because the block cheese is cheaper per pound. So anyway, so this is a wonderful device that I love to use to grate the cheese. And I'm going to definitely use block cheese. I don't buy the shredded cheese. Except sometimes shredded Parmesan. Because the block's a little expensive, to be honest. Sometimes I'll buy shredded Parmesan. But other than that, I just always buy block cheese and shred it myself. And if I need to do large amounts, like if I'm making pizza, this would be the right amount for the pizzas I'm going to make. Then this professional salad shooter really does a nice job on it. And all those pieces will go in the dishwasher. While this electric part itself does not. You can wipe it off if it needs it, but it just goes back into storage. So this is probably one of my favorite tools that I use. And if you enjoy any of these tools, if you think they look pretty cool, you think they'll save you time in the kitchen, I do have links below the Amazon page where you can find anything, well, almost anything that I am using today. You won't find links to the food because I am presuming that you can find most of these foods yourself in your own grocery store or Costco. Steak from Costco. Mushrooms from Costco. You can see the tortillas are actually from Superior Grocers. They're store brand. There's one nearby. Let's see. I'm going to spin this a little. There we go. That's better. I'll turn it as I need. Tortillas. Okay, so now what we need to do, we're going to need to cook the beef and the mushrooms. We're going to cook both of those separately. But before we cook the beef, that's the next thing to do. We're going to get a nice little salt and pepper on them. A little pepper. Now, if you like fresh ground pepper, I'll be honest. Before cooking a dish, grinding them, your salt and pepper fresh, doesn't matter. Oh yes, I'm putting a lot of salt. We like salt in our beef. Actually, it's not as much as you think, because this is a very fine grind of salt, and this very fine grind isn't as salty as the coarser grind. If I had coarser chunks, then I'd do that for longer. So, what I'm going to do is mix them up. Yes. Mix it up, make sure it all gets the salt and pepper on it. So yeah, but like I was saying, and you can watch Google Foods. He actually did a pepper test. Ooh, that one's kind of thick. Okay. He actually did a test on pepper itself. Before cooking. Before cooking and after cooking. I know, and maybe he had one without. I don't know if he had one without though. And I've done a similar test with my kids and a friend. With pepper. I gave them fresh ground pepper. Now I did it on eggs that were already cooked. So it was fresh ground on hard-boiled eggs. Egg whites, actually. So basically you're tasting the pepper flavor. I didn't want to do rice, as I did in America's Test Kitchen. So I did one with 2 different peppers. When they tried 2 different peppers, they could definitely taste the difference. But when I did it with the filet mignon steak, they didn't notice that there was pepper or not. So honestly, and they couldn't tell which pepper I used. So honestly, if you're going to cook with pepper, fresh ground, store-bought pre-ground, does not matter. You're not going to taste the difference. It's only if you're going to sprinkle it on a salad, sprinkle it on after you cook, you will taste the difference in those cases. Like with the eggs, they could tell the difference. You can watch that video too. I have that one up on my channel. It was testing out those grinders. I wanted to see. I think it was the other grinders. I wanted to see if there was a flavor difference. And I will say salt. The reason why you won't notice any difference in fresh ground salt is because it's just going to dissolve when you cook it anyway. And salt is salt. It's only the extra added stuff in the salt that might have a different flavor. Like if you had celery salt, you notice a different flavor in the salt. But if you're cooking with the salt, it's all going to dissolve. It doesn't matter if you grate it up really fine, go really coarse. Because once it's in the water, or whatever you're cooking, it's all the same. It's all the same. Now you're going to fresh grind it on your afterwards. It's just fancy. It just looks fancy. But if you like fresh grinding, as I do, it's fun. You might wonder, what do I do with them? Why do I use them? Because I've learned kind of just from the grinder how long to put it in, and that really does kind of help how long. Alright, now it's time. Now it's time to bring in the good old skillet. Now we're using an electric skillet. Let's see, for the beef, let's go full high. Now, so this is a good skillet. You can actually make paninis. Move it this way for now. I have to turn it back around and plug it in. We're going to put it this way for now. Paninis. So you put in your sandwich. I made grilled cheese in this. Oh, I love it. The top can be hot and the bottom can be hot. So you get both of them hot and toasted at the same time. It happens really quickly. Heat all around. It really works. And you can also open it up like this, as we're going to do to cook. You can own it like this to cook 2 skillets at once, you might say. Like, I have 2 skillets here. Although we're going to do quesadillas on both of them. But the beef and mushroom itself are only going to cook in this one. This is like the pan, an electric pan, electric skillet. So now we go ahead and plug it in. Alright, after I plugged it in, it's not hot at all. Why not? It hasn't turned on yet. Here's the switches. You can turn on one or both. And the upper. This is for the upper, if you want this one on. The lower. I will say the upper one is not as hot as the lower one. So right now we're only going to do the lower part, so we're going to turn that one on only. Now it's going to heat this one up. You'll notice I'm not going to use any oil. It's not because the pan, well, this is non-stick. So I've done that with bread very often, no oil. Just let it toast. It toasts it really nicely. Really nice toaster that way. But that's not why I'm not using any oil today. It's because this beef has enough fat in it that it's going to make this stuff oily anyway. I might have to add oil for the mushrooms, not for the beef. It reminds me, needs a stirring tool. Now I believe it comes with this little stirring tool. It's fine. It'll work. And let it heat up for a minute. So yeah, so this is Bear Grill. And if you can think about Bear Grills, yeah, it's kind of funny. It's called Bear, and you might call it an electric grill, electric skillet. So Bear Grill. The company's called Bear that made it. Found on Amazon. You know, and I tried to search for it on Amazon, just try to search for it. I couldn't find it. So I have a link in the description if you really like this skillet, electric skillet. We actually enjoy it a lot. You know, I like, even though it's electric, you know, most people like to cook it with gas. It still does a very good job. You're about to see it work well on this beef and the mushroom, and then then we're gonna do the quesadilla. Really quesadilla. Alright, so let's get this beef going. I can feel the heat. It's probably not hot enough yet, but you can hear it sizzle. There we go. There's the beef. It's out the bowl. And I believe it came with this specific spatula. It does have this little one back over there. Yeah, we're going to cook up this beef nice. Nice sear on the beef. I don't think I'll be using salt and pepper. I might use it. We'll leave it over there. And the sauce. And okay. I'm going to need the board. The cutting board. Oh, I need a knife again, too. So while this beef is cooking, we're going to stir it around, definitely. Gonna get some of this stuff ready. Yep. Want to get out the board. So we're going to cut. This is my bread cutting board, basically. Anytime there's bread, I use the wooden board. Because I like the way the knife cuts into the board. Speaking of knives, gonna need a knife. a knife for cutting the quesadillas. Probably put it over here for now. And as I rise to YouTube greatness, which will happen, bet on it. At least rise to rise to YouTube self-sufficiency. We're going higher. We're going higher. We're going to Google level. Why was I bringing that up? Jeez. Forgot. Oh, that's right. So one thing you may have noticed if you're with me last time, I was at the stove cooking. The spaghetti recipe. That's a great spaghetti recipe. I had something similar in an Italian restaurant too recently, actually. Similar idea, the sausage and spaghetti, making a sauce with a sausage. Now we didn't choose that because it's not my daughter's favorite kind of spaghetti sauce. With this Italian sausage. But I'm just saying, the stove over there. The reason, if you watched this on the stove over there last time, I could move the camera over there, you could see it over there. But one thing I will mention about that is that I now know, I thought about when I just walked back over there, that, it's easier to hear me with this microphone right here. Boom. If you saw the very beginning, if you didn't, you can scroll back all the way to the beginning of the live and see when I set up my microphone. It's right above my head. It's barely out of the camera view. And it's a very nice microphone. It picks up my voice really well. But when I walk back over there, you can't hear me. And I know that. Oh, you can't hear me as well, I should say. But what I will say about that is, one thing I'm looking at is getting wireless mic. I have one. I did have a wired microphone. I did have a wired microphone that I used to use, a lapel mic. And that's one that you can see in other videos. You can see my kids using it when they're taste testing their food. The mic is really close to their mouths. It was a fine microphone. It was good. Problem was it had a cord on it. And the problem was that cord was sometimes, I don't know why, produce terrible feedback. Terrible feedback. Lots of bad feedback. Now, you can see the beef. You can see here. You can see my beef. You can really see that. You can see I can touch this part. It's not hot. I just want to move just the things around. Get your camera. Get the camera closer to this. There we go. You can see better. A little better now. You can see it's browning up nicely. You can see lots of grease inside. That's the grease you're going to cook the mushrooms in. That's what's going to happen. But I digress. Oh, so yeah, I want to get a nice lapel microphone so that when I'm cooking over there again, because that's where the stove is, or until I get my dream kitchen set up. What's my dream kitchen setup? Well, have an island. And on the island will be the gas grill. Well, there'll be lots of stuff, but on the island will be the stove, so I could cook right here in front of the camera. Also need some, extra space on the island for preparing, the stuff. Part of it. All the good stuff. So yeah, it's an island, so it makes it easier, so I'm not facing a wall when cooking, or trying to get a camera from behind or from the side to take a look at what I'm cooking in front. I think it'd be much better. So I could have the camera on the side over here. This is nice. Alright, so now the beef has been browned. So we could take it out. We're going to taste test it a little. Grab this slice. Let it cool. Because personally, I cannot really eat really hot food. So we're going to let that cool a bit. Here's my taste testing slice. It's done. It's brown. It's done enough. Whether it's rare inside, I don't think it's rare inside. Probably really well cooked. You see a lot of grease. Sometimes when I cook beef, any beef, whether it's steak, and this is really a New York steak, in case you're wondering, this is a New York, choice cut New York. You're not select. Why waste a good select? You know, there are other steaks. You can use cheaper meats for this dish as well. A little too hot to eat. You can use cheaper meats as well for this. This doesn't have to be the New York steak, but I have actually found that, it's easy to slice a New York steak. It works well for stir frying. It's nice and tender when cooked this way. It tastes good. So I often use it just because it does elevate whatever you're cooking, especially if you're doing stir fry. Broccoli beef with this steak, you can get away with a cheaper cut, but if you use the good stuff, it tastes better. Oh, I know what it's missing. Oh, I tell you, that's good steak. And garlic. I was supposed to put the garlic powder on before I cooked it. Salt, pepper, garlic powder. Usually my triple combo. Google uses the same combo. I like that combo. But I will tell you that bit of steak I just had, that was tasty. That was good. Wonderful. Alright. So sometimes when I cook steak, and what I have found, especially with the cheap stuff, so I used to leave the juice here and finish cooking I would leave it in with the sauce for my broccoli beef. Wasn't good. Was not good. Didn't taste good. So instead, usually what I do is, that's what's going to happen today, I guess. I burn it off. See, all the grease is practically gone now. All the grease is being burned off. Happens fast and usually takes a lot longer to burn it off. Again, my taste test. So I'd add some garlic powder because garlic makes things taste better. At least in our family, we love the garlic. And we have found we don't really need the fresh garlic necessarily, although I have the fresh garlic. And that works good when you're in the oil and adding the garlic to the fresh garlic and browning the garlic in the oil. Makes things taste better. But garlic powder will work in a pinch. Even better. Yeah. You taste the saltiness. Taste the pepper. Kidding. You can't taste the pepper. How do I know? If I did this exact same recipe without the pepper, and I have done that before. I did a steak with pepper, about the same amount I use. A steak without pepper, and you grill it or do whatever you're gonna do with it. Can't even tell. But salt, I will tell you, 100%. If you don't add salt, you will notice. Well, not that you'll notice if you've never had salt before, but you'll absolutely notice that the salt, when you do a taste test, salt versus non-salt, there is a big difference. I've done it with hamburger meat. Right away I get to, oh yeah, this one was salted. Now honestly, you can actually get away with no salt on your hamburger meat. Because what's going to happen with your hamburger meat? You're going to put a whole bunch of stuff on your hamburger, right? I mean, unless you just do, even if you just do basic ketchup on the burger, and that's all you do, or mayonnaise. And you're still dressing the steak in something with the flavoring. And you won't really notice whether it's salty or not. With all the extra stuff. And that's one thing we tried. But if it's just, you're just putting this, and so next, the mushrooms. You'll notice there is nothing going on with these mushrooms. No salt. Yeah, you could add salt, you could add pepper. You're not going to taste the pepper But you can do it. Alright, so yeah, let's put that all with beef. So now, this might look like a mountain of mushrooms. But what's going to happen is they're going to, these are bellas. Our favorite right now are baby bellas. Okay, one thing about, and did want to mention this. You can take a look at this little slice here. This is the one thing that happens when you're using the dash safe slice. Now, usually your mushroom slices look like this. Almost always, you're going to see them like this. Nice little sliced cross, right? Like this. But because, I try my best with the dash safe slice, but sometimes you can't get it exactly like you like it. So you're going to get different shapes, like this shape. Or you might get one of these. Or full on, So it's not exactly. Gotta come exactly the way you want it. You don't get them all the shape that you're expecting. But when you're eating, who's gonna notice the shape of your mushrooms? Really? It's all about the speed. So I'm gonna use the mushrooms. The mushrooms are gonna kind of soak up some of that beef juice. Which was funny, is when I did, and it was very noticeable. Sometimes when I made my, beef broccoli dish, I've made it a lot. Family loves it. When I make my beef broccoli dish, sometimes I've done it to where I leave that fat, you saw the fat from the beef, and then I added the water, chicken stock. And the chicken stock plus the oyster sauce, that is the secret to a very good beef broccoli. It's the oyster sauce. It's not chicken stock. It's the oyster sauce. Add that to your sauce with the beef broccoli, and it's gonna taste very good. Anyway, I noticed that if I didn't boil off the fat on the beef, the sauce in the end didn't taste as good. Like once I left pretty much all of that juice from the beef. It's juice from beef. How is it not good? It wasn't. So yeah, so usually, and from that, so it means pretty much anytime I'm stir frying beef, or any meat actually, even chicken, even pork, whatever it is I'm cooking, when you get that fat just sitting on there, I cook it off. By the way, stirring this is not really helping it cook faster. It's just making so that it more evenly cooks. But really with mushrooms, it's not going to matter that much. Maybe you're noticing now that the mushroom's starting to shrink. Should we flavor the mushrooms? Beef has flavor. True flavor? Sure, let's flavor them. Let's add some garlic powder. I know the garlic powder was not in the recipe. I know. So I'm modifying the recipe. This recipe, I don't know where it comes from. And again, I know I've said the pepper doesn't matter. It's just habit. I don't know. Now, putting this pepper, it does matter if it's after cooking. But during cooking, nah. And a little salt. This is about a pinch of salt. Trust me. The salt granules are so small, so fine. It's not as much as you might think. That grind it. If you want to get some grinds for yourself, again, everything I'm using, you can find on my list down below of stuff that I like to have in my kitchen, stuff that we enjoy cooking with. Anyway, so yeah, mushrooms, you're going to start to sweat. You might hear people say. As they get smaller, now you might not notice, but they are a lot smaller now. They're going to sweat, and that's fine. I'm not going to worry about the sweatiness of the mushrooms. Just want them to cook down. So it takes about 6 minutes to cook mushrooms. To the place you like them. Now sometimes I add paprika to the mushrooms. If you want some extra flavor, you could Worcestershire sauce. Or wine. Soy sauce. But it's not necessary. You can see why this is a weeknight dish. It really doesn't take as long to cook. We're practically done. I mean, honestly, because I've been talking, moving around, getting stuff set up. We didn't start at 4:30. I don't know what time we actually started. Maybe about 5. We've been talking. We're talking and taking things a little slower. So this is taking longer than I would normally for doing this dish at home. And if my son was here, I would be splitting the beef in half. Well, not quite in half. I'd be having maybe kind of in half. Half of it with just beef, and the other half with beef and mushrooms. Because my son, although he has turned the corner on his dislike of mushrooms, because as he's actually at college now, he actually enjoys his job. He is now, well, for a while he was just doing stocking he works in the dining services. So at first he's just stocking things, so, like cereal's out, go and restock it. There's no more muffins. Take this tray of muffins, put it out. That kind of thing. Now they're actually having to do some of the actual making of the foods too. So you know how if you start with restaurant business, usually you start doing just the simple things. Stocking something, putting food out. Or when I was at the pizza restaurant, I started just doing the easiest thing, which is putting toppings on the pizza. That takes really no cooking talent at all. All you do is just put the stuff on. And then put the stuff on and just put it in the oven. And didn't you have to... And our pizza oven was great. It was an awesome pizza oven. Industrial pizza oven. So it had this conveyor belt. You put the pizza on one side, and like you'd set the timer. I think it took like 12 minutes. Maybe 8 to 12 minutes, something like that, to the other side. By the time it was at the other side, it was done. Wonderful pizza device. So you start with that. And then you work your way up to the other stuff, like actually making the dough, rolling out the dough, saucing the dough, cutting the pizza, making the sandwiches. You start with the simple stuff, just toppings. It's easy. You just put toppings on. You tell you, this is how much pepperoni you put on. This is how you put it on. This is how much mushrooms you put on. This is how much... Anyway, the one thing I do remember, there's this guy at the restaurant. He was funny. That I would not the coworkers were a lot of fun too. But there was this customer, I should say. He wanted his pizza burnt. He loved burnt pizza. So what would we do for him? Well, I was doing the pizza topping at the time. But the guy who was handling so I put it in the oven, and the guy would take it out and cut it. The guy who does the rolling out the pizza dough. So what he did, by the way, these mushrooms are done. I'm just finishing my story. So what he did was he said, oh yeah, I got this guy. He likes his pizza burnt. So let me show you how to do it. So the pizza goes through, it's time, and he takes the pizza back out, and he puts it back in the oven again. So it went through the oven twice, and it came out really done. He likes his pizza burnt. That's how he always ordered it. I only remember the guy once, so maybe he came more than once, but I just remember that one time. I was just building the pizzas at that point. Alright, so look at that. We have a wonderful cooked mushroom. We're going to stick it with the beef. And mix it all up. Oh, yeah, I should probably taste it, right? It's done, but we're going to taste it to see if it's a good flavor. Let's get this one. This one's perfect. I got to let it cool, because I don't eat things hot. Tastes like mushrooms. Yep. Got that mushroom flavor. Alright, let's dump it in the beef. Nice accent to beef. Alright, I can actually turn the grill off. You don't really need to turn it off. Oh, by the way, one thing you gotta be careful. If you turn on this one, it's not on, you can touch it. Put a hand on it. You gotta be careful because it gets really hot. You can really burn yourself. Like especially if you're closing the lid, accidentally close it on your finger. Alright, now in this case, so you can see a lot of juice in here. Now this time, if you're making a quesadilla, you do not want any mushroom juice in your quesadilla. At least not on the outside tortilla. No, do not want that. Absolutely no. No. We're going to actually wipe the juice out. mushroom juice. No, it's good juice. It works well if I was doing a soup, to capture all that juice inside the soup. Made your mushroom soup much better. But not here. Okay, got all the mushrooms out. Now we're gonna, ooh, this is warm. Okay, let me move here. Now I'm gonna mix it all up. So, maybe I did too much mushrooms, but that's quite alright. Oh, the more mushrooms, the better. We love our mushrooms and beef. Not my son, though. Although, that's what I was saying. He's been working in food services, and he found out, just from eating there, that his pastas, finally coming back, circling my story about my son and mushrooms, didn't I? He found out that pasta-wise, the pastas he liked better were the ones that had mushrooms in it. So apparently he likes the flavor of mushrooms. Maybe he doesn't like the texture of them, or like to crunch in them, or bite into the mushroom directly. But he actually found that what was better, flavor-wise, at least at his dining services, was when he had pasta that had mushrooms. Alright, so the beef should be pretty cool. The mushrooms are a little cool. Let's try them in a combo. Just taste test. Some of them call this chef's privilege. You actually get to taste the food as you're cooking. Okay, it's cool enough. That is tender steak. Oh yeah. That steak is very tender. Oh, nice saltiness. Good flavor from the mushroom steak combined. This is about to become a very wonderful quesadilla. Okay, it's a pizzadilla. I know. It's actually pizza-inspired quesadilla. Because you do not use mozzarella. I'm sorry, you do not use mozzarella in a quesadilla. That is not how you do a quesadilla. Alright, I'm going to move this back over. So you're going to see the assembly process. This is where we put them when we're done. I'll get this thing out of here. Alright, assembly process. Let's get this. So we've got, I'm going to turn the heat down a bit. Now sometimes what I do is I'm back on the stove, I'll be boom. Doing 2 on the stove, doing 2 here and folding it and closing it. We're going to do them like we would on the stove usually. But first, that mushroom juice is just in the way. Because you want a nice, I wouldn't call it clean, but you want a dry skillet. You want your skillet to be dry. You do not want it to be wet. You're going to wipe it out. Even though the mushroom is good, I'm going to wipe it off. Beautiful. Excellently done. Now if you wanted to just, I can't really do it with the electric skillet, but if you wanted to use your skillet and just toss it in the sink, that'd be fine too. Alright, so I'm going to turn on both switches. So you can see this is the upper one, that's the lower one. Boom, boom. Turn them both on. See the lights are on. Means it's heating up. Maybe you can't see the lights, but trust me, there are lights right there. Ooh. I did notice some pepper there. I will admit I did notice that there's pepper there. I can feel the pepper. It's a little spicy. I didn't notice the flavor of it. Maybe I'm wrong, but in general, pepper before. You don't really notice pepper when you're cooking. Although I will say there was one time I really purposefully over-peppered. And when I over-peppered the stuff, well, let me see, did you see? No. I'm looking for the wooden, maybe you guys see it. Nope. 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 Dummy. Alright, I need another one then. Another spatula. Usually like to use the wooden spatulas, but since apparently they're being used, yeah, I can feel the heat. It's ready to go. I know you can't see the close-up of this, but I want to show you the close-up of building quesadilla. So easy. If you don't know how to make a quesadilla, this is basically it. So you want just a cheese quesadilla. We had one recently at a restaurant called Rodrigo's, kind of a local chain. My daughter really liked their quesadilla, and I'll let you know what their secret was. I'm not sure what cheese they used, whether it was Monterey Jack or queso, or whatever it was. Anyway, so making a quesadilla, half of cheese. I'll tell you their secret. Their secret was green chilies. Your Ortega mild green chilies that you get in the can. That's exactly what they used. Oh, we use that a lot too. That's like our favorite chili to put in chili. But anyway, there you go. Cheese on the quesadilla. Add the mixture. Add enough. You know, don't be stingy on the toppings. Add that filling. Anyway, so good. All you have to do for cheese quesadilla, get a tortilla, put cheese on half of it. If you want to use an extra specially tasty one, put the cheese on half. Add in the green chilies. Ooh. And then right on the skillet. Alright, I gotta turn that down. That seems pretty hot. Alright, let's do the next one. You just take your tortilla. Doesn't matter which side you use. You might notice a little difference in them. Kind of like aluminum foil. You'll see a difference. They look different. Doesn't matter which side you use. So you pile in as much cheese as you like. You like a lot of cheese. Try to make sure it doesn't go over the edge, because that's going to cause it to get on the skillet. You don't want that. Fill it with the beef mixture, whatever you're going to use. Another good combo. Chicken. Tomatoes. Chicken, tomatoes, and bacon. It's a really good combo. It's the breakfast quesadilla I do sometimes. Chicken, tomatoes, and bacon. There's two. Gotta keep going. You might notice the light. I don't know if the camera's noticing the lights flickering. I can see the lights flickering. Why are my lights flickering? Because electric skillets on the same line as the lights, the extra lights, to brighten this place up. So I put in a good amount of cheese on it, as you can see. A nice amount of shredded cheese. So it's going to melt. Sometimes I use queso, and when I use queso cheese, I don't shred that cheese. I just slice it with my cheese knife. I just slice that cheese up. Don't skimp on the top. There we go. Look at that. A nice, good amount of toppings there. A nice amount. You can hear them sizzling, because the sizzling is if the cheese hits the tray. You know, yeah, so one of the easiest things to make in your kitchen is a quesadilla. Buy some tortillas. Buy your favorite cheese. It can even be cheddar cheese. First, I would do cheddar cheese, but I've also done quesadillas with Monterey Jack, Colby Jack, Pepper Jack, queso. You can always try queso cheese. That's really good cheese for a quesadilla. I want to go that route. And whatever toppings you like. You can just do plain cheese and grab some salsa, your favorite salsa from the store. Boom, instant dinner. Or lunch, or snack. Now, when I was growing up, I would just eat warmed up tortillas, actually, sometimes. Warm tortilla. Okay, so now it's probably been long enough. Toast this side. Maybe not. Maybe I'm toasting too slow. Okay. It's lightly browned. You'll notice that this tortilla, let me show you. One thing about quesadillas is now that you look at this, take a look. You can see the cooked tortilla is shorter than the part that was on top. The one on the grill shrunk. Always happens. You're ready for it. There we go. Flip this one over. Alright, I think I'm going to heat up a bit. Let's turn up a bit. There we go. Just depends on how fast you want it to cook, really. And if you go really low, you can really, you've got slow cook. Why bother? It's not going to make that much difference. Yeah, very easy to do. Just take whatever sauce you like. It's ready to go. My salsa today is spaghetti sauce. Okay, it's not really spaghetti sauce. It's just there you go, Italian sauce. They call it Italian sauce. That is hilarious. Italian sauce. It's basically marinara. It's a nice marinara. I have tried this with salsa. That's good. I think it's because the cheese we're using is mozzarella. And salsa doesn't really mix well with mozzarella. They don't go together. Now, queso cheese, wonderful. Excellent. Yeah, my son really likes it. I haven't made them in a while, but it's tortillas. So you have the queso, you have the chicken. Now that you just get from Costco rotisserie chicken, break it up, boom, put it inside. Pre-cooked chicken, don't cook your own chicken. Just buy the Costco rotisserie stuff. Slice up some tomatoes, put inside. Add some chopped up bacon, pre-cooked bacon. Just chop it up, put it inside. And very good flavors. You add some salsa if you like salsa. That one works really well. Or do what we had at Rodriguez. My daughter really liked that one. Like I said, all it was they had it's a little light. Let's turn up the heat. All they had was cheese. And she added chicken to it, shredded chicken. Shredded chicken didn't really make much difference. Cheese. And, peppers. If you ever watch, I have a long time ago, there's a ham and cheese pinwheel that I made. Recipe. Very good. So, if you want to take something for a potluck, just make some ham and cheese pinwheels. Easy to make. That cheese is going to melt. Really easy to make. You just got to let the cream cheese soften by leaving it out like overnight or something. Let the cream cheese soften. Cream cheese, spread on the tortilla. Nice layer. Add the green chilies, your Thai green chilies, the mild ones. Those are very tasty. Add ham, like the sliced ham. Whatever favorite deli sliced ham you got. Put it all together. Roll it up. Set it in the refrigerator overnight so the cheese hardens up. And go ahead and slice it up. And they are tasty. They are delicious. They are wonderful. Highly recommend. It's a very good appetizer. Those are the same chilies that they use in their quesadilla, and it was good. That's the same chilies that I use in my chili recipe. We love the flavor of those chilies. By the way, if you're wondering why I'm using a stick, spatula, not my hands, I don't get my hands dirty when making quesadillas. I've learned for a long time that using a spoon or using something to get the toppings out is the way to go, so your hands don't get all messy. Alright, I'm feeling slow, feeling hotter. What am I doing here? You might have noticed I'm actually making some extra quesadillas they're in the waiting. They're in the wings. They're waiting for their time to shine. They're waiting to be placed on the grill to be made into a tasty, flavorful quesadilla. Like I said, this is not a quesadilla. This is not. But it's made in the same way you would make a quesadilla. But the fillings we have here. The reason why I'm making this, my daughter requested it, basically. This is my daughter's request. This week is spring break week. My daughter is home. Happy, healthy daughter. I am home. Since we are both home, since I'm home and she's home, that means this whole week I can make dishes that I normally save only for Saturdays and Sundays when I have like a whole day to cook. And this is usually one of those Saturday. Well, this isn't necessarily Saturday Sunday dish. I could do this on a weeknight. But what did she ask for? She asked for a the steak quesadilla. So that's why we're cooking this. All right, so I want this both sides to be a little more toasted. Let's see. All right, that's much better. Take a look at that. Lightly toasted. That's the toastiness that my daughter likes. I hope your daughter likes to be that toasty, that shade of toasty. So that's what we're going to use. I'm going to toast the other side just a little more. Oh yes, there we go. See? This is the toasty that she likes. And you'll notice now the two sides of the tortilla, well actually the top one's still a little longer, are about the same length. But that's what happens for quesadillas. All right, let's do this one. I haven't turned it yet. Beautiful. Turn this one again. Okay. Getting there. Getting there. Let's keep it there a little longer. So I'm guessing this side could be like your has your grill effect. You can kind of see the round grill marks. I like your grill. It's not really a grill. I like the flatter one better. But anyway. Put those back in. I got a few more. I could just do some straight cheese quesadillas. I'm not doing that. No. Not good. All right, let's get out the dipping sauce bowl. Yeah. Oh, and I gotta get out the plate too. The presentation plate, because you know how it is. I show you everything that goes on from start to finish. I'm recording a recipe. That's part of what happens in these lives. And one of those things that we do is to show you. By the way, if you notice in the beginning, I threw away one of these whole things. This sauce doesn't last for long. But fortunately, tomorrow is going to be lasagna night. You know, I basically okayed every dish with my daughter, happy healthy daughter, because this is her week of food. She likes this sauce. It's a little sweet. This Prego sauce, it's a little sweet. Tomatoey, basil-y, garlicky. Just good flavor. She likes it. So since we're doing, they have a lasagna recipe on here. It's okay. I have a wonderful lasagna recipe that I have stolen and now I've modified it. Basically, if you ever noticed, basically any recipe you see, any recipe you're going to find online, it's very rare that the recipe is 100% the chef's. Very rare. Most of the time, the recipe is borrowed, stolen from someone else. And then what happens to it? You make your own modifications. Like, see, if you look at the recipe online that I put in the description, and the link in the description to the website that has the recipe, you will notice that the recipe that I'm using did not include the use of garlic powder. It might have actually wanted to use real garlic. I can't remember on that or not. I might have mistakenly not done the actual real garlic. I have it. Didn't use it. Next to. But yeah, no. Every recipe you see online, there is barely any recipe that's new. Most recipes start with something like this one's from a magazine, a great magazine now defunct called Cooking Light. Oh, they have some really good recipes. Some of the dishes that I make on my channel are based on Cooking Light recipes. See, so like you start a recipe there, Cooking Light for instance. Then what do? You try it out. Looks good. You might try it out as is. Or maybe you already know, like, my family doesn't like oregano. I'm not going to put oregano in this. Or my family doesn't like the flavor of jalapenos. But I'm not going to put jalapenos in this. What do? You substitute. You make changes to the recipe. Or maybe you try it as is once. You say, That's pretty good, but I think you'd use this or use that. And so next time you make it, you do what you think. You enhance it and make it better. All right, got about 2 more of these to go. You know, all the recipes, like every recipe you see on my channel, it usually is based on someone else's recipe. There's a hot chicken salad recipe from Aunt Joyce. Not really my aunt, but she had a wonderful casserole. It's basically chicken salad ingredients, except instead of mayonnaise, she used, what is that stuff called? It'll come to me. Cream of chicken soup. Very standard. Very standard ingredient in casseroles. And so use that. Let's take a look at these. Yeah, I took that from her, and that one I pretty much kept the same. At one time I added some, I wanted to make it a little more healthy maybe. So we added some, what's that stuff called? Broccoli and mushrooms into the dish. So it was more than just a chicken salad. But basically it was just cream of chicken soup, lemon, celery. Stuff you'd find in chicken salad except instead of mayonnaise. The filling was cream of chicken soup. Condensed camel cream of chicken soup. The topping was great. It was cheese. Oh, before that, let's see, what goes first? You'd put on crushed potato chips. Oh, it makes for a very nice topping. Crushed potato chips, sliced almonds, and cheese. One of my favorites, but still my son's favorite. Believe it or not, my son's favorite dish is a casserole. It's not beef. It's not pizza. It's not hamburgers. There was one dish he always asked for. Actually, it's kind of funny. For a while, there was a time we made cheese getti and the hot chicken salad casserole the same night. It was actually 2 casseroles in one night, because the cheese getti is a casserole dish. It's a baked spaghetti that we call cheese getti because it uses like a whole pound of cheese in the thing. It is, so it's with a tomato sauce, so it's kind of like a special version of let's get this out of the way, of mac and cheese, but with ground beef. It's very American. A recent recipe I just did again on my channel. And so, you know, the night it would be, so we asked my son, what do you want to eat? You know, usually, oftentimes, like before the week, on a Saturday or Sunday, no, actually I go shopping on Friday. On the Friday night, or on a Thursday, or Wednesday, as I'm building the recipe for the next week, I asked my son, what do you want to eat next week? What do you want to have? Almost every single time I asked him, he would say, cheese getti casserole. What that means is the cheese getti recipe that was recently done, and the hot chicken salad casserole, which was done a long time ago. Still on the channel. Those 2 dishes we do together the same night. There we go. That's looking nice. Now you see the little brown bits. You know why that is? Because we didn't fully get the mushroom juice off. That's why. Or the beef juice. Or something, maybe the pepper or something. Didn't fully get off. Okay. So while these are cooking, let's move this out of the way a bit. If you touch the under part, oh, it's still hot. If you touch the middle of the grill, you can kind of push it. Or if you use, we're going to move it forward a bit. Move it forward a bit. Kind of out of your way. Because I want to go ahead and slice through. Move forward a little farther. Still cooking. Now I'm going to slice through the first quesadilla that came out. Start plating. As you may have heard. Alright, so we're done. Leftover cheese. Gonna stick. Excuse me. What do we do with leftover cheese? So what happens if I don't use up all the cheese, like this case, or if I don't shred up all the cheese? Ziploc bags. And I guess I could use airtight containers, but this is the one and only thing I really use Ziploc bags for anymore. cheese. And deli. Anything deli. Cheese and deli meats. I will put leftover cheese and deli meats back in a Ziploc bag because we don't want them drying out. We don't want the air circulating around them. So let's get rid of the cheese. Oh, I know as much as I want to take a pinch of the cheese and eat it. Because I love good mozzarella cheese, and this is good mozzarella cheese. I'm not going to. Not going to. I am not going to. Oh, I forgot we're going to make a quesadilla salad again. But one of the things coming up soon on the channel, probably at some point. Maybe not that soon. Something I'm going to record. It's going to be out months later. If you don't know, I have still some stuff that I've recorded back in October. Still not out yet. So I record a lot more than I post. So I have a backlog. Anyway, so you get your quesadilla. I let it cool because I don't want the cheese pull to happen. And then half, boom. Look at that, nice slice now. See how good this knife is? Boom, right through the meat, right through everything. Oh, isn't that a good looking quesadilla? Okay, I know it's not a quesadilla. Mushroom, steak, and mozzarella. That's what I said. Pizza. Boom. Done. My son likes the edges. Of course. Any of it's good. And boom. It's like a pizza. Plating. I move this over a little so you can see the plating action going on. And let's put the stuff back in the refrigerator. Plating, always important. How you plate. Because when food looks appetizing, it's more likely to be eaten. Yeah, that's a big bowl, I know. We're going to definitely have multiple layers because... There we go, look at that. Boom. That's how I kind of Chicago-style deep dish pizza, too. Okay, there we go. Plating, important. You make things look tasty, people eat it more. Okay. Let me see. Let me make the whole. Let me do this. I'm trying to figure out a good way to do this. The geometry of all. Okay, let me see. Let's do it like this. Here we go. Careful. Careful around the hot skillet. There we go. Here we go. Okay. Now this can fit right in the middle. Okay. Next one. Let's see. One of these ones are good yet. Yeah, it looks like it probably are. Oh, no, not so much. We'll finish them off on the other side. The other side's hotter. Besides, those ones started first. Boom. And offset them. Stack them up. Be careful of the hot skillet. I'm thinking we're probably just going to do this. Trying to decide how to take them. What if I just squeeze it all in? How to plate those and make them look nice. Alright, let's just stack. There we go. Not true, I could have used a bigger plate. Wouldn't have the effect I want though. There we go. That's it. There you go. That is the method. Okay. I know maybe did, but I let them cool so the cheese won't have the cheese. I know there's a big deal of having the cheese pull. It's a big thing. You see it all the time. That's just for show. More annoying than anything else. When trying to showcase the dish. Don't bite on the cheese pull. There we go. Look at that. Look at that. Wonderful. Okay. Okay. Squeeze it in. Squeeze it in. Actually, it looks really good from this side. Look at that. I gotta also decide how. No, it's gonna be from top down almost. From here. Boom, right in there. Okay, let's get the others. So these look really good. Look at that. Toasty. Beautiful. Okay. I'm gonna move these over to the hotter one. And in fact, we can even turn it up. I'm gonna turn off the top one. So this one's gonna cool down. Turn up the heat. This back in the refrigerator. Let those cool. Look good. This is going good. Yeah, so you look at the recipe that's online that I have for this one. It is pretty much taken exactly from the wonderful magazine Cooking Light. Wonderful way just copied over into, my favorite program of all. You've seen, I did put it on a post once a while back, my favorite program of all called Cozy. It is a wonder. I love that Cozy program. I actually learned about it from Cooking Light. So what Cozy does is it has more than just recipes. It has a calendar that you can actually put more than just what you're going to eat. Like you put appointments in and all that stuff. You can share it amongst all your family members. One login for all your family members. Everyone can share recipes that way. You can share schedules that way with everyone in your family. I use this to if I have a family plan. I mean, what's tonight's dinner? The wifey will also, it's in Cozy. You can cook it. It's in Cozy. So the recipe will be right there in Cozy. She'll know what the plan is because I've already put it in Cozy. And she can get the recipe and cook if I'm not there. For some recipes don't need it that much. But we have that. So we love Cozy. And it made it easy for me just to transport the dishes from Cooking Light. It's copied from the website, put it into Cozy. It has pictures of the dish. A little bit of juice. Okay, so I turned it up really high so you can see the difference when you turn it up high. It really toasts the tortillas. Anyway. So we have Cozy. So I put the recipes from Cooking Light in there. This is what I put in there. So it's basically just the exact same recipe. It copied straight into there. But if you watch me actually cook this recipe, I never even looked at Cozy. I never looked at the recipe that I had in Cozy. What I do often for my videos is I'll write down the recipe that I wrote from Cozy. Sometimes I go into Cozy and edit it myself. Differences, especially the lasagna recipe that they're making tomorrow. Sorry, that one's not online yet, but I've made some modifications to my lasagna recipe that I did put online. It's a good recipe. No, it is. That one online is a really good lasagna. But I made some modifications that that appeal to our taste better, such as I have substituted goat cheese for the ricotta. Now, why am I using goat cheese instead of ricotta? You might wonder. You might ask, why goat cheese? What's good about goat cheese? Well, as I was looking up, I was in Costco. Costco, for some reason, doesn't have ricotta cheese. I don't know why. Just don't have it. So I had to look up Google and said, okay, Google, what's a good substitute for ricotta? One of them was goat cheese. I'm like, okay, goat cheese. And so I found some goat cheese in Costco because they have that for some reason. Yeah, don't have ricotta, but they have mozzarella. They have a lot of fancy cheeses. Goat cheese. We don't have ricotta. They have queso. We don't have ricotta. They have Monterey Jack. They have cheddar. They don't have ricotta. They have Parmesan. In fact, the real stuff from Italy, not the stuff from America, but the real one from Italy. All right, that sounds like that's done. We're turning all the way down. Take a look. They don't have ricotta. Yeah, okay, we're good. Those ones cool. Set up our, let's see. These look really good. I'm trying to figure out which ones do I want on the top. You know, you want to have the best looking ones on top. The correctly toasted. Okay, there we go. That looks good. Flip them over. Oh yes, there we go. All right, this is gonna be on top. This is cool. Yeah, so I said, Now and I had planned to make lasagna because Happy Healthy Daughter loves lasagna. Her favorite. Turn that off before I burn anything else. She loves lasagna, so I said, okay, we're gonna make lasagna. But I didn't have ricotta, so I was at Costco and like, okay, goat cheese. All right, we'll try some goat cheese. Now I've learned you have to actually kind of melt the goat cheese first. It makes it easier to stir it. You know how ricotta is nice and soft, you just stir it. Goat cheese is a little hard. And I've substituted goat cheese in other dishes too. Goat cheese and ricotta. There's a Tuscan stuffed chicken that we love. I think it's on the channel. Anyway, so you can use ricotta or you can use goat cheese. They both work really well. Slightly different flavors. But when I use the goat cheese and the portobello mushrooms and the spinach and the sauce that I already put away, this sauce right here, in that recipe, oh, we just like, wow, that's really good lasagna. Also has some Parmesan in there too, some Parmesan cheese. Wow, that's really good lasagna. We were really impressed with that recipe. So yeah, you can't find that specific recipe on the channel yet, but it's a work in progress. It was a recipe for a while, and it's just a recipe that we found and we've modified to our likings. What? You ready to eat? Oh, you want to try some? It's almost your taste test time. Is that why you came down? Oh, because you want a taste test. See, Happy Healthy Daughter has come to join us for a taste test. All right, these are cool enough to cut. Still a little hot. We'll go ahead and cut them up. Get the presentation going. Since she is eager to eat, you can taste test both of us. Still got to. We're gonna put the cooker away a bit. Move it out of the way for the picture. I know how to really move it out of the way. What I need is the gloves. We'll just Alright, so we're going to move this out of the way so we can get ready for the picture. Then that's the last step. Anyway, so goat cheese in our lasagna. Something that we decide we really enjoy. And that was made possible because Costco did not have ricotta. I had to make a substitute. So that's how it is with recipes. You know, you start with a recipe you like, you find it online, looks pretty good. And I do have a secret for finding recipes online too. One thing we do. So like you search whatever you search up. Like if I searched up quesadilla, for instance, you get a ton of hits on a quesadilla. Right, lots of examples of quesadilla recipes you can choose from. And so then, you look at them. Here's one of the things you do. You look at, a lot of them have ratings on them. So you look at the ratings. But don't just go for the 5-star. Maybe the 5-star has only 3 reviews. You got to choose the 5-star one. This way. Okay. You have to choose, maybe there's a 4.9-star one, but it has, 500 reviews. Uh-oh. Gotta look free for the picture. So you want to go with the 4.9-star one because it has so many more reviews. There's other people that hate or not like the recipe. You're rarely going to find a 5-star recipe. 5-star recipe with like 500 people reviewing it. And then once you look at the recipe, you look at the ingredients. Are those ingredients that you like in a recipe? If there's something you'd want to do to modify the recipe. Usually I go, it's like usually look at online for recipe. It's a good base, a good start. But then I'm going to modify it. Change it. Do something to it. Happy Healthy Daughter has joined us. I need a napkin to fix this up. We'll be ready for the picture. Secrets of flavor. You want to make things look nice. Nice bold red. We'll move the smeared part to the other side so it's not facing the camera. I'll even bring it up to you so you can see for a minute. There it is. I can't tilt it too far otherwise, as you might guess, the food will fall. So right in the center. That is the cheese. It's the quesadillas. Alright, now we gotta make the thumbnail. I can't use the live feed for the thumbnail. It wouldn't look as good. So, on the camera, with the flash, set it for 50, at least. Use my back. Another one. I have learned up all this time that the zoom is very important. Make it as close in as you can. I know I've tried this before, but that's not something right now. I know it's not going to focus in very well. We'll kind of. You can see. Hold on, not even like that. There we go. You can actually see. There you go. That's the button. Yeah, this is not a new camera. This one is really old. I've had this camera since 2007.
That's when I was born.
Exactly, that's how I know when it was. Something I got it. I think it was 2007. That was all done. Alright, so you ready to taste the quesadilla? Okay. So let's go ahead and taste the quesadilla. They're all the same. Teddy's not here, so there's all mushroom steak. Although I think these ones have more mushroom, less steak on the top. That's just the way the scooping went. Let's try it.
Steak has a very good flavor, and I like the texture of the quesadilla.
The tortilla's been fried crisp. Huh?
And the sauce makes it a little sweet, so that's good.
That was pretty much all mushroom. Let's take some beef in this case. How can I describe the flavor? Let's see. You got the sauce, which is pizza-like. You got the cheese, which is pizza-like. You got the mushrooms, would be like on a mushroom pizza. I could have on that. The steak, probably more of a Mexican thing. You don't usually have steak on pizza. And the tortilla is a substitute for your bread. Crispy. Yeah, this one's more crispy. Crispy. So if you like a crispy pizza, the sauce, you choose how much sauce you want. Wonderful mozzarella cheese, just like a pizza would have. And a good combination of flavors. Especially like mushroom and steak. Yes, yes, yes. That is very tasty. So, it is dinner time. It is 6:40 or so, where we are. So I hope you enjoyed watching making quesadillas, a little different twist on quesadilla using Italian ingredients that make for a very flavorful and tasty snack. Maybe it's better than those pizza rolls you might have done in the microwave while you're waiting to watch this cook. Or the Hot Pockets you took out of the freezer. It's very good, tasty. See, it wasn't very hard to cook, not very hard to make, and something that anyone, even my son, could make if you wanted to. Alright, so that'll take care of our live for today. We're going to go ahead and eat. Enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy the rest of your holiday if you're on spring break. Enjoy. And I'll see you in the next video. There we go. That should do it.